Hello and welcome. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to talk about cryptocurrency news. It's Bitcoin versus Amazon versus Apple versus Visa. And the winner is Bitcoin is not fake volume. We're going to look at the volume that's happening on the Bitcoin network and try and determine, is this a fake rally or is this rally supported by real consumers and institutions? And then finally, we're going to look at Bitcoin and it completing a golden cross. So let's get started. Can we get this video to 99 likes? Please hit the like button, smash the like button down below. It helps us a lot. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion. Cryptocurrency involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for every investor. So, Bitcoin is the best investment of the decade. Pretty spectacular. So Bitcoin had a tremendous run back in January of 2017. Actually, not just the month of January, but the entire year. This graph goes from January of 2017 all the way to the end of December 2017. And you can see how Bitcoin went from right around 1,000, I think it was around 900 and something dollars on January 1. It completed a $20,000 all-time high and then dropped down from there. And so let's take a look at how Bitcoin did compared to some of the world's biggest and most spectacular stock companies. So if you had invested $100 into these various companies a decade ago, 10 years ago, how much would that $100 be worth today? So if you had invested $100 in Alibaba, you'd have 208 bucks. Walmart would have returned you 271, Johnson & Johnson 316. Now I'm going to jump all the way up here to Visa. If you had invested $100 into Visa, it would have returned you $1.7 thousand. That's a great return for $100 over 10 years. Apple would have returned $2.4 thousand. Amazon would have returned $3.3 thousand. But Bitcoin, over that very same 10-year period, would have returned $9.2 million. Let me say it again. That's $9.2 million. So while Bitcoin has had the highest performing decade of any asset out there or any asset class out there, will it continue to do that in the future? And that's really what the rest of this video is going to cover. We're going to look at, is there enough evidence that we can reliably say that Bitcoin will continue its dominance as a strong asset over the next years and possibly decades into the future? So projections for the next decade are in. The decade was starting this year will be one where mass adoption is sure to blossom. Price predictions. And there's a link here for those price predictions. Companies like Starbucks are an example of Bitcoin being adopted with their plans to release projects allowing customers to purchase their products using cryptocurrency. So imagine buying your Starbucks coffee with Bitcoin. Now that actually will be a reality because Starbucks, Microsoft, and the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange combined their efforts to open up a cryptocurrency exchange in September, and that cryptocurrency exchange is called Bakkt, B-A-K-K-T. And the Bakkt exchange is releasing their own app, and that app will allow you to purchase cryptocurrency or purchase goods and services using cryptocurrencies. In fact, Bakkt has announced in the last couple of weeks that they've also purchased a rewards company, and they're going to incorporate rewards such as airline miles into and Starbucks rewards into this app that you'll be able to buy things, goods and services with a variety of different assets, whether your asset is a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or the asset is your airline rewards miles, or your asset is some sort of rewards points that you got from your job. There's a whole variety of ways that you'll be able to use rewards and other kinds of points to buy real world goods and services using the app that Starbucks, Microsoft, and the New York Stock Exchange, the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, the Intercontinental Exchange, have built using the company Bakkt. So, is the Bitcoin rally real volume or is it fake volume? Let's take a look. When volume rises in tandem with the market, it often indicates that the upsurge is backed by strong momentum. Therefore, we want to know, is this volume fake or real? As the Bitcoin price climbed from $8,000 to $10,500, the daily volume of Bakkt, here we go, we're talking about the Bakkt exchange again, gradually rose from around $10 million to $24 million. And so over this time period, you can see that the volume on the Bakkt exchange has doubled, and that's pretty significant. The increase in volume of Bakkt, as well as other strictly regulated futures platforms, including the CME Group, show that the demand for Bitcoin from both retail and accredited investors is rising. Although most of the volume in the cryptocurrency market when the Bitcoin rally was just getting started came from margin trading platforms with the likes of BitMEX, over time, spot and futures volume also grew. The expansion of legitimate volume in the cryptocurrency market provided both Bitcoin and altcoins such as Ethereum with a more solid footing to resume a bullish market structure. And so the result of this volume has given the rally from the $8,000 price to the $10,500 price a lot of support and a lot of structure. And that could be seen in what's happened since this weekend. Over the weekend, we saw the price of Bitcoin drop from the $10,500 price all the way down into about $9,450, $480, depending on who you're looking at. And so with that big drop, the real question was, well, is Bitcoin going to tank farther, or is Bitcoin going to recover from that? And Bitcoin has already recovered from that in a matter of the last day or two. Today is currently February 19th, 2020. And so Bitcoin has recovered from that that devastating loss over the weekend. I shouldn't say devastating. It really wasn't devastating, but it was definitely a loss that was kind of unexpected. So it was really a correction. All right, so Golden Cross. The Golden Cross is here and did happen yesterday. The last time this happened, in Bitcoin's price surged 165% in 2 months. And so we've been covering a number of different areas why we can have a bit of confidence in a bullish prediction of Bitcoin, as we all know that the past does not predict future performance. The past can give us, what am I trying to say? We may not know how fast the wind is blowing, but we've seen this before, and we have a good idea that the wind is going to blow to the north or to the east or to the west. And so while we may not know if it's going to actually have 165% gain in the next 2 months, we do know that a Golden Cross has a bullish likelihood of seeing the price go up. And so let's get into it. However, despite the steep decline, a rare bullish signal flashed once again on the charts. Bitcoin's 50-day moving average just crossed over its 200-day moving average. This is a rare phenomenon that is commonly referred to as the Golden Cross. It's a historically bullish pattern, and it takes into account two of the most commonly used moving averages. The last time this happened was back on the 22nd of April, 2019. And so you can see in this chart, these lines here are converging into a golden cross. So one of these lines, and I would expect this one, is the 200-day moving average. And this one, because it's hugging the price much closer, would be the 50-day moving average. You can see that they're about to cross right here. As seen on the chart above, the golden cross took place in April last year, and the price surged to its yearly high at around $14,000. And so they're referring to this golden cross here, and then this peak of $14,000 right there at the top. Now that was approximately 60 days, and it had a rally of 165% during that 60-day period. And so this happened just a year ago, April 2019 to June of 2019, and we saw a 165% gain in Bitcoin in just 60 days. So Bitcoin is currently trading around $9,750. If history repeats itself and the pattern does drive the prices higher, an increase of 165% would put Bitcoin at approximately $26,000 by the end of April 2020. Interesting enough, this is immediately before Bitcoin's halving. It takes place, and it's estimated to happen in May. Now, some estimates are saying that it'll happen in May. I've seen other estimates that said it's going to happen a little bit closer to sometime in the latter weeks or days, latter week or latter days of April. The Bitcoin halving is not set in stone. It's based on the number of blocks that are added to the blockchain. And normally, the blockchain self-corrects itself, so that those blocks are added, one block every 10 minutes. But recently there has been such a surge in hash power on the Bitcoin network that has actually reduced, and this may happen instead of the halving happening around May 20th. The halving has been predicted by some to happen earlier in May and possibly the last few days of April. And so this 26,000, the next high of, say, 26,000 or whatever, is looking like it may happen right around when the halving actually occurs. And so it's interesting that those two events are kind of building up to each other. So between the golden cross and everything being below the 200-day and the 50-day moving averages, along with the upcoming Bitcoin's halving, could keep the price in a very bullish posture over the next several months, in line with current Bitcoin price predictions. So there's also been some people who have been extremely bullish when it comes to Bitcoin price predictions. Tom Lee said Bitcoin would reach $27,000 by July. Mike Novogratz also predicted that Bitcoin would have its best brand of the past 11 years, and that, he was saying that Bitcoin is the best brand of the past 11 years, and that it will test $20,000 in 2020 once again. Another thing that I thought has been extremely bullish is that a government-owned German bank came out with its own report on its price predictions of Bitcoin going into 2020 and 2021, and they were expecting that Bitcoin would reach $90,000 per Bitcoin. And that coming from a German state-owned bank is pretty significant. And the article itself was quite interesting. They actually had some very legitimate reasons to come to that conclusion. So I wanted to show you the chart here. This chart is on Yahoo Finance, and this is the Bitcoin price chart. Right now, Bitcoin is trading. Actually, let's go ahead. I'm not going to refresh the chart because Yahoo Finance has had some issues in the last 48 hours with their charts. So I'm not going to refresh it at this moment. I was going to refresh it. Well, it just refreshed. So anyway, Bitcoin is trading at $10,146. Right now it is 6:47 a.m. Central Standard Time on February 19th, 2020. And you can see that the Golden Cross was hit on yesterday, really. February 18th is when the Golden Cross actually occurred, right in here. For whatever reason, Yahoo Finance is not showing us the data for the 18th. But that's when this Golden Cross actually happened. I'll leave a link to this chart in case you want to see it. And you can see here's the dip over the weekend in the price that we were talking about earlier. But Bitcoin recovered nicely instead of continuing to head down. So that's the news for today. How can I be of service to you? Do you have any questions that you want me to answer? Was there anything that I didn't go into enough detail that you'd like to discuss and get more information about? Or, hey, maybe you completely disagree with some of the price predictions that I'm talking about or anything else that I've said. You have knowledge that I don't have. You know things I don't know, and I know things you don't know. And when we share our knowledge with each other, we're going to grow smarter together. I want to grow smarter together with you. So please politely share your disagreements in the comments on the YouTube channel, and I will respond to them. So I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, like, subscribe, and hodl, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.